Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to Ritika's online teaching academy. Today in lecture 2 I will discuss about the search for the genetic material and the Michelson and Stolz experiment. So those who have not subscribed my channel till now, please do subscribe and share my videos in order to get more videos in biology. Okay, now I am sharing my screen with you. Okay. So, in the series of for molecular by basis of inheritance, it is a lecture 2 on search for the genetic material and Michelson and Stolz experiment. So, search for the genetic material. First, DNA was first identified by a scientist named Frederick Miescher in 1869, and he named it as nuclein. But the question that DNA acts as the genetic material took long to be discovered. Means till now nobody knows that DNA or some other molecule would be the genetic material. So for that discovery, so many scientists have done a lot of experimental series. In those experiments performed by various scientists, first name comes of Frederick Griffith. He performed experiments. It is also called as the transforming principle. Why it is called as transforming principle, we will see that. He performed a series of experiments using a bacteria called as Streptococcus pneumoniae. It is also named as pneumococcus, and we all know that this bacteria is responsible for pneumonia. Okay, so what he did, he grown this bacteria in culture medium, and he found two different types of bacterial colonies. First bacterial colony was having smooth, is called as smooth and shiny colonies. Why it is called as smooth and shiny colonies? Because its polysaccharide coating or coat is a covering of bacteria is smooth, and they are also virulent in nature. Why we are saying it is as virulent? Virulent means they are infectious, they can infect. Now the other bacterial colonies which we got in the culture medium were rough colonies represented by capital R. These there the smooth polysaccharide coat was absent, and they are avirulent in nature because they do not infect, means they are non-infectious. So what he performed in his experiment, he grown these two this bacteria and found two different types of colonies. Now he infected a mice with smooth shiny colonies, living smooth shiny colonies. When he gave the injection of living smooth shiny colonies to the mice, he find that mice dies. When he injected the mice with living or rough colonies, he find that mice lives. Now he was able to kill the smooth colonies by heating them. So these heat killed smooth colonies were when injected into the mice. He found that the mice lives. Means it means that heat can kill these smooth colonies, and after killing they do not create infection in the mice, and the mice remains alive. While in the third experiment or in the other experiment, what he did, he simultaneously given the injection of heat killed smooth colonies as well as the living rough colonies bacteria to the mice. What he found that after giving these two simultaneous injections, the mice dies. Here you can see that living rough colonies are not infectious. Then how it can make a mice die, while heat killed smooth colonies also are not infectious, while combination of these two injections would lead to the death of the mice. What was its cause? Then he inferred that there is a transformation of rough strain bacteria by the heat killed S strain bacteria. So this could be due to the transfer of some genetic material or transforming principle from the heat killed S strain to the R bacteria. which enabled the rough strain bacteria to synthesize the smooth polysaccharide coat. Why? We have seen that the smooth shiny colonies are virulent, means they can only be infectious. So it means that there is some transfer of something from the heat killed S strain to the rough strain bacteria, which transform the rough strain to the to synthesize the smooth polysaccharide coat and become virulent. So this study has concluded that there is some transforming principle which is getting transferred from the heat killed S strain into the rough strain and lead to the mice dying. But what was that transforming principle was yet to be defined. Means we can say that this study was unable to define the biochemical nature of the genetic material or transforming principle. Whether it is DNA, RNA or something else, it was not known or was not concluded from his experiments. Now, the another scientist group, or we can say a team of Avery, MacLeod, and McCarthy, they also performed experiments in the year around 1933, and he did the biochemical characterization of the genetic material. Now, that transforming principle was discovered, whether it is DNA, RNA, or proteins. What he did in their experiment, they purified separately DNA, RNA, and proteins from the heat-killed S strains bacteria. Why he did so? In order to conclude or in order to discover which of these three could transform the live R cells into the S cells. Another discovery or experiment he performed with various enzymes like proteases, which lead to the degradation of proteins, RNases, which lead to the degradation of RNA, while DNases, which degrades the DNA. So when they used these two enzymes, they found that it did not affect the transformation. So the genetic material is neither protein nor RNA. Because if protein is the genetic material, then after degradation, transformation should not occur, but it happens. If it is RNases, transformation again would not happen if it is RNA, but it happened. So it means that DNases degraded the DNA, and in the absence of that DNA, it would not lead to the transformation, means it did not inhibit the transformation. So it was concluded that the transforming principle was DNA. It was neither proteins nor RNA, it was DNA. Now, the experimental proof, it was only the biochemical characterization which was done by Avery, MacLeod, and McCarthy's team. But the experimental proof that it is DNA only which is causing which is the factor or a material which is getting transferred came from the experiments performed by Hershey and Chase in around 1952. We call their experiment as unequivocal because it does not leave any doubt. So they experimented with the bacteriophages. We know that what are bacteriophages? Bacteriophages are viruses which infect bacteria. So these bacteriophages are able to attach themselves on the bacteria, and when they infect the bacteria, their genetic material gets transferred into the bacterial cell. So before starting the experiment, what they did, they grew these viruses in separately in two different mediums. In one medium, they took radioactive phosphorus, while in the second medium, they took radioactive sulfur. So in these two different mediums, two groups of viruses were grown. Now, viruses grown in the radioactive phosphorus medium contain the radioactive DNA. So why the DNA got radioactive? Why we know that in the DNA structure phosphorus is present. So this radioactive phosphorus would get incorporated into the DNA, not into the protein. While the viruses which were grown under the radioactive sulfur medium, they contain radioactive protein, not radioactive DNA. Why? We know that in protein some amino acids have sulfur in their structure. So we got two different groups of viruses. One group is having radioactive phosphorus in the DNA, while the other group of viruses have radioactive sulfur in their protein. So after getting these two different groups of radioactive viruses, what they did, these viruses were used to infect the E. coli bacteria. Now, in this picture, we can easily understand it. This is the structure of the bacteriophage. So, this first group of bacteriophages have radioactive 35 sulfur labeled protein capsule, while the second group of bacteriophages have 32 phosphorus labeled DNA. So, when a bacteria or E. coli bacteria is infected with radioactive 35 sulfurs labeled protein, and the another group of bacteria were infected with the 32 phosphorus labeled viruses. Then after the infection proceeded, they blended the bacterial cells. Why they blended or used a blender? In order to separate the protein capsule or coat from the bacteria. After blending, they did the centrifugation. In the centrifugation, why they did centrifugation? In order to separate the protein coat of virus particles from the bacteria. Now they analyzed these bacterial cells as well as supernatant. In the first group he found no radioactivity in the cells. Means what radioactive element he used there? 35 sulfur. So no radioactive 35 sulfur detected in the cells. Why in the supernatant 35 sulfur was detected? Why? Because those protein coat which were removed by centrifugation would come into the supernatant. Now in the second group, after centrifugation, radioactivity of 32 phosphorus labeled DNA was observed in the bacterial cells. But in supernatant, no radioactivity was observed. The answer is clear. Why no radioactivity is detected? Because the 32 phosphorus gets incorporated into the DNA and that DNA is present inside the cell. While no radioactivity in the protein coat, because 32 phosphorus will not get incorporated into the protein coat. So now they concluded or confirmed that it was only DNA which gets transferred from the viruses into the bacterial cell. So once this genetic material come into the bacterial cell, what would happen? That DNA, that bacterial cell would uh, think that DNA as it was its own and starts replication of those virus particles. That's why the blending was done and centrifugation was done in order to separate the viral coat, protein coat out from the DNA. Now, so it was now confirmed that DNA acts as the genetic material and it is actually transferred from the viruses into the bacteria. So final proof that DNA acts as the genetic material was got from the experiment of Hershey and Chase. Now the another thing of replication, we have seen that the DNA replicates, but what kind of replication it is? So that we know that the structure of DNA was given by Watson and Crick. And at the same time, they also hypothesized or proposed that the replication of DNA is semi-conservative in 1953. What do we mean by semi-conservative? Means that out of the two DNA strands, these two DNA strands of a DNA molecule will act as a template for the synthesis of two new complementary strands. So it means that after the replication of DNA molecule, it would contain one parental as well as one newly synthesized DNA strand. So the experimental proof, that was a proposed mechanism, proposed or hypothesis given by the Watson and Crick. But that hypothesis was confirmed by the experiments done by Michelson and Stolz in around 1958. And he performed the experiment for proving this semi-conservative mode of DNA replication with the bacteria called as E. coli bacteria. So E. coli bacteria is the simplest bacteria in order to perform the experiments, and also its doubling rate is faster, around 20 minutes. So that's why this bacteria is generally chosen by the scientist for various experiments. So Michelson and Stolz experiment 1958, what he did, those bacterial E. coli cells, they grew those cells for many generations in a medium that contains ammonium chloride, NH4Cl, as a source of as a nitrogen source. We know that for growing some cells, some carbon nitrogen source should be provided in the medium in order to make those cells grow. And we also need food in order to grow. In the same way, bacteria also need some food in order to grow. So there they used ammonium chloride as a sole nitrogen source for the growth of E. coli cells, and which contain the 15 nitrogen. 15 nitrogen is a heavy isotope of nitrogen. Here one thing is important, that it is a isotope of nitrogen. It is not a radioactive isotope of nitrogen. Okay, so it is a heavy isotope of nitrogen, while the light isotope of nitrogen is 14 nitrogen. So the DNA, what he did after growing those cells for many generations in a medium, they extracted the DNA molecules from these cells. Now, these DNA molecules would obviously contain 15 nitrogen in their structure. So this heavy 15 nitrogen DNA molecule, we can distinguish these two different types of or isotopes of nitrogen. One is 15 nitrogen and the another is 14 nitrogen by density gradient centrifugation, and this is done in cesium chloride. So what do we mean by density gradient? In that gradient or centrifuge, the heavy and the light DNA molecules would get separated according to their densities. Means the heavier molecule would settle at the bottom while the lighter one would come above it. Okay. So now the cells grown in 15 nitrogen medium were transferred into a fresh medium, and now that fresh medium contains the light isotope of nitrogen, which is 14 nitrogen. So 14 ammonium chloride they used, and again the samples were taken out at different time intervals as the cells multiplied. And what is the multiplication time of E. coli cell? It is 20 minutes only. So it takes smaller, or its generation time is very short. That's why they are chosen. So the DNA extracted from these cells were analyzed separately, and what instrument they used for analysis is density gradient centrifugation in cesium chloride. So now this picture would clear the analysis of different DNA molecules which we will get in different generations. So the parental DNA is having 15 nitrogen, which is the heavy isotope of nitrogen. So it is having both the strands which would have 15 nitrogen incorporated into them. Then in centrifugation, due to the gravitational force, and it is also heavy, so we will get the 15 nitrogen um, banded DNA at the bottom of the centrifuge tube. After 20 minutes, this DNA is extracted, and it was found that since its replication time is 20 minutes, so obviously after 20 minutes, we will get the replicated molecules of DNA. And since the replication or the this E. coli cells having 15 nitrogen are grown into a medium containing light DNA, light isotope of nitrogen, which is 14 nitrogen, the newly synthesized DNA would have 14 nitrogen into them. So these two red colored bands would get separated, and the newly synthesized, or we can say the daughter strand, which is shown with the green color, will have 14 nitrogen incorporated into it. So it means that we get the hybrid DNA. Okay, so this is hybrid. These two DNA molecules are hybrid, containing 14 nitrogen strand as well as 15 nitrogen strands. So green one is 14 nitrogen and the red one is the 15 nitrogen. So hybrid, or we can say intermediate DNA molecules. Now in the second generation, after 40 minutes, again these DNA molecules would get replicated. Now the parental DNA strands and daughter DNA strands again get separated. This green one will lead to the newly synthesized DNA strand, or make a copy of the new DNA strand, which will have 14 nitrogen into it. Okay, so both the of the two strands would have 40 nitrogen or light nitrogen or isotope of uh, nitrogen. Okay, now this green strand of another DNA molecule, which will also lead to the synthesis of newly synthesized DNA molecule, which will have 14 nitrogen into it, while the red one after replication would give again the green strand in these two molecules. And why we are getting green strands? Because the medium which is used for the growth of these E. coli cells is 14 ammonium chloride, which is a light isotope of nitrogen. So here we can see that two DNA molecules are hybrid or intermediate DNA molecules, while the another two molecules here in second generation are containing light 14 nitrogen isotope. Okay, so for two light DNA molecules we will get, and two hybrid DNA molecules we will get. Okay, so in here we will get two bands. One is of light DNA molecules, two light DNA molecules, 14 nitrogen, 14 nitrogen, while the one which is heavier or of intermediate density, you cannot say it is fully heavier, it is of intermediate density. It is 14 nitrogen, 15 nitrogen. One is a strand is having 14 nitrogen and the another is having 15 nitrogen incorporated into it. So here in the picture also you can see, that when the DNA molecule contains heavy isotope of nitrogen, which is 15 nitrogen, the band is coming near to the bottom of the centrifuge tube. As the density becomes intermediate, 14 nitrogen, 15 nitrogen, the band would becomes half light and half heavy. So its band would come little above of the heavier band which we get in the parental or in the first DNA experiment. So in the second generation, now this 14 nitrogen, we get two DNA molecules of intermediate density. The band, brown band would come at the same height, And the another band which is having both the strands containing light isotope of nitrogen will come above it because it becomes more lighter. So here we have seen in two generations how the DNA molecules gets replicated and what is the proportion of the DNA molecules which we can get in each of the two generations. So in the first generation after 20 minutes we will get the hybrid or intermediate two DNA molecules, while in the second generation we will get four DNA molecules out of which two are light DNA molecules while two are hybrid DNA molecules. So equal amounts, or we can say 50-50% of both both the hybrid and light DNA molecules we get. Now we can summarize all these things in these points. After one generation, 20 minutes, DNA was analyzed and it was found to be of hybrid or intermediate density. DNA extracted after second generation means after 40 minutes was composed of equal amounts of hybrid and light DNA. The similar kind of experiment was performed by another scientist called as Taylor and his colleagues. They used radioactive thymidine. Their Michelson and Stoll used isotopes of nitrogen, 14 nitrogen and 15 nitrogen, while Taylor and his colleagues used radioactive thymidine, and they analyzed the newly synthesized DNA of chromosomes of faba beans. Its scientific name is Vicia faba, and he also found that the DNA replicates semi-conservatively. So it is another proof by Taylor and his colleagues. So here are some MCQs which were asked in NEET exam. The first is semi-conservative mode of DNA replication was proposed by Michelson and Stoll, Watson and Crick, Liddell and Totum, and Hershey and Chase. Many of you would tick mark on Michelson and Stoll, but it is not correct. The correct option is Watson and Crick. As I have shown in earlier slides, that experiment was performed by Michelson, but the proposition or the hypothesis was initially given by the Watson and Crick when they discovered the structure of the DNA. Simultaneously, they also gave the scheme for the semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. So the correct option is B, Watson and Crick. Another question is, which of the radioactive isotope was used by Michelson and Stoll to label DNA in their experiment? Radioactive isotope. So they used heavier and lighter isotopes of nitrogen. They didn't use radioactive isotope. So the first option is 15 nitrogen, second option is 35 sulfur, 32 phosphorus, and none. So the correct option is none. Why? They haven't used radioactive isotopes. They used only the isotopes, heavier and lighter. Okay. Next question is, in the Michelson and Stoll's experiment, DNA extracted from 14 ammonium chloride medium after 60 minutes would have the DNA densities. The options are 75% light and 25% intermediate, 25% light and 75% intermediate, 50% light and 50% intermediate, and 15% light and 85% intermediate DNA densities. So we can see it by an explanation with the help of one figure. The correct option is A, 75% light and 25% intermediate. How it came, we can easily understand by this picture. Till here we have seen by Michelson and Stoll experiment till generation 2. There we got 4 DNA molecules, out of which 50% are lighter DNA molecules and 50% are hybrid DNA molecules. Now in the third generation, means after 60 minutes, again these all 4 DNA molecules will get replicated. Since the E. coli are grown in the lighter isotopic medium of ammonium chloride, which is 14 nitrogen, the newly synthesized strands of all these DNA molecules would contain 14 nitrogen incorporated into their DNA. So these two strands of DNA molecule would give rise to the two DNA molecules. Okay. So here this one DNA molecule would give rise to two DNA molecules having lighter nitrogen or 14 nitrogen isotope of ammonium of nitrogen. Okay. Now this lighter DNA molecule after replication will again give rise to the two DNA molecules having 14 nitrogen incorporated into it. So these two DNA molecules, this one and this one, after replication would give 2 to total 4 DNA molecules. Now see the middle one. What about these two DNA molecules? These two DNA molecules, the green strand of the DNA molecule would give rise to another newly synthesized green colored strand having 14 nitrogen into it. So lighter DNA molecule. The red strand of this DNA molecule after replication would give the hybrid DNA molecule, meaning one strand would have 15 nitrogen while the another strand would have the 14 nitrogen incorporated into it. And again the same thing, this DNA molecule after replication would give rise to another hybrid DNA molecule, one hybrid DNA molecule and one DNA molecule of lighter density. Okay, so these two gain rise to 4 DNA molecules. Out of these 4 DNA molecules, 2 are of hybrid densities or 2 are of intermediate densities, or hybrid molecules, while the other 2 are of lighter density or lighter DNA molecules. While the rest of these two strands which were having 14 nitrogen incorporated into it after application have given 4 DNA molecules shown in with green strands. So we can say now we can summarize this. The how many are of having lighter densities? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and total DNA molecules are 8. So 6 out of 8, meaning 75% light DNA, and 2 hybrid DNA molecules out of total 8 DNA molecules are having 25% percentage into the total DNA. So 2 hybrid DNA molecules having 25% or intermediate densities, while rest 6 out of 8 DNA molecules having 75% in the total DNA molecule. Hence, the correct option is the A, 75% light and 25% intermediate density. Now, the similar kind of question, but here instead of percentage, they have asked proportion. So if an E. coli grown in a medium with 15 nitrogen is transferred to a medium containing 14 nitrogen and allowed to grow for 80 minutes, after 80 minutes, what would be the proportion of heavy light and hybrid DNA densities respectively? The first option is 0/16, 14/16 is to 2/16, 1:16 ratio, 1/16 ratio, 14/16, 14/16 ratio, 0/16 ratio, 2/16, and D is 1/16 ratio, 0/16 ratio, 15 out of 16. So the correct option is A. And how this it came, we can again see with the help of the figure. Till the third generation, we have seen that 75% is having lighter DNA molecules, while 25% are having hybrid DNA molecules or of intermediate densities. So how many total DNA molecules? 8, out of which 0. The first ratio is shown for the heavier DNA molecule. So here is no DNA molecule having heavy density only. So 0/8. The second ratio is showing 6/8. 6/8 for lighter DNA molecules. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 DNA molecules out of 8 are lighter DNA molecules, while 2 out of 8 are having hybrid densities. So the ratio comes like this: 0/8 ratio, 6/8 ratio, 2/8 in generation third. Now in generation fourth, after 80 minutes of replication and the analysis, what they will get? Again, they will multiplied or get doubled. Okay, so first DNA molecule, so we will show uh, the lighter one with the yellow color. So you can say, see that this first DNA molecule would give rise to, sorry, will give rise to two DNA molecules, which are here, these two DNA molecules. Now the second DNA molecule will again give rise to two DNA molecule. Now this third DNA molecule will again give rise to two DNA molecule. Okay. Now here these three DNA molecule would get doubled to give six DNA molecules. Okay. And these two hybrid DNA molecules will give rise to the red one. Okay. I have already talked about their green one. Okay. So here this one will have two strands would have the hybrid lighter densities, while the red one will give rise to the hybrid densities or intermediate densities. Sorry. Okay, I have to show it with the red color, the hybrid one. Okay, so now you can see how many lighter DNA molecules are here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here also 7. Total 14 out of 16. Okay, so 14 out of 16 DNA molecules are lighter, are having lighter densities, while heavier DNA molecule only 0. So for heavier 0/16, for lighter 14/16. And two DNA molecules are having hybrid densities or intermediate, are hybrid DNA molecules and having intermediate densities, and their proportion or ratio would be 2/16. Hence the correct option is, hence the correct option is A, 0/16, 14/16, and 2/16. Okay. Now, the next question is, the final proof for DNA as the genetic material come from the experiments of, it was asked in NEET 2017. The first option is Griffith, second option is Hershey and Chase, third option is Avery, McLeod and McCarthy, and the fourth option is Hargobind Khurana. So final proof for DNA as the genetic material? Yes, obviously it is Hershey and Chase, which performed experiments with the bacteriophages and E. coli bacterium. Next question is, Taylor conducted experiments to prove semi-conservative mode of chromosome replication on which plant? Vicia rosea, Vinca rosea, Vicia faba, Drosophila melanogaster, and E. coli. The correct option is faba beans, Vicia faba. Now, transformation was discovered by, was asked in NEET 2014, Michelson and Stoll, Hershey and Chase, Griffith, and Watson and Crick. So, it was Griffith or Frederick Griffith who discovered the transformation. Means genetic material get transferred. Okay. So, what was the experiment? He performed with Pneumococcus bacteria and the mice. There he discovered the transformation. Okay, so this is all about um, the discovery of genetic material and the experiment done by Michelson and Install, and various examples or questions asked in the NEET exam. In order to get more video lectures in biology and different series of different lectures, you have to subscribe my channel. Okay, so do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.